If you're planning to launch an e-commerce business, you've probably asked yourself, should I start on Amazon or should I set up my own Shopify store? Maybe you've even thought about selling through social media directly. In this video, we're going to be breaking down exactly why we chose Amazon as a launchpad for our new brand and why it might be the best fit for you. So if you're serious about starting an e-commerce business in 2025, this is a video you don't want to miss. Welcome to FBA Unfiltered. My name is Taylor and I started selling on Amazon in 2023. I went on to do over $100,000 in profit in my first 12 months, and I currently do about $35,000 a month selling on Amazon. Joining me is my former business coach, Rami. He is a multi-seven-figure Amazon seller who's been selling on the platform since 2017, and we created this channel to document the behind-the-scenes process of how we're launching our new brand on Amazon FBA. We hope to inspire and educate new Amazon sellers by showing exactly what it takes to go from idea to launch. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow along for our journey. Now let's get right into why we picked Amazon as our starting point. All right, cool. This is video number 2 for us, starting to break down our new brand. I'm Taylor. I'm here with Rami. How are you doing today, Rami?
I'm doing great. Super excited for our second video on the channel. In this video today, we're going to be discussing why we chose to launch on Amazon first for our brand. I know Taylor just went through that in the introduction, so let's get right into it.
First, right off the bat, I think it's good to just kind of get an understanding of just how big Amazon is as a platform for online shopping. You can see here just a couple little graphics to hammer this point home, but basically Amazon has millions of daily shoppers on its platform, which has a lot of advantages. People are already coming to the platform with the intent to buy, so it's very intentional traffic. You don't need to spend as much money up front on your ad spend to drive people to your website because people are already coming to Amazon's website on their own. And there's usually already an audience already looking for your type of product, especially if you're going about doing product research with any of the data-driven tools or software that incorporate Amazon's keyword search data.
Yeah, and one point that I don't see a lot of people discuss enough, in my opinion, is that Amazon makes a ton of money off of third-party sellers, right? That 15% referral fee is huge for them. So if you make a good product, Amazon's going to organically push that. A lot of people like to blame how expensive Amazon PPC is or, a myriad of issues that Amazon definitely does do. I'm not saying Amazon's perfect. They do a ton of issues. But at the end of the day, if you have a good product and Amazon sees that it's selling through really well, like in regards to the conversion percentage from the amount of people that click onto your listing to then click purchase, it's going to be pushed organically very quickly. That's a point that I don't see a lot of people discuss. They just like to kind of utilize Amazon's platform for the traffic, which is for sure a big thing. But when you have a good product, that organic push is going to be ginormous in regards to the amount of sales that you can get relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. People love to hate on Amazon. I don't know. Like you said, they're not perfect. Nobody is. But at the end of the day, if we're making money, they're making money. And so they like that. They want to push those top selling products. So another reason why Amazon is a good starting place and why we want to launch there first is the fulfillment. Okay. It's incredibly streamlined. Amazon's fulfillment is the best in the country. Speaking about the United States in particular, they have warehouses to store your product. They're going to take care of all the fulfillment, shipping that product out to the customer. And they're even going to help with returns, which is another big logistical thing. So those kind of logistics platforms that Amazon has make it a very, very good place to start.
Ultimately, you can go from, you can take a one-person company and make it into a multi-million-dollar business on Amazon with FBA. Very, very, when I say simply, I'm saying simply in context to comparing it to what it used to be when you had to use a 3PL and you had to handle all the logistics, all the returns, X, Y, and Z. So definitely that is one of the biggest points is why we're choosing to go with FBA to launch our brand to start.
And just keep in mind, if you're watching this and you're someone who's just starting in e-commerce, you're already going to be wearing all the hats. You're going to be the one sourcing the product from the manufacturer. You're going to be the one handling the supply side logistics. You're going to be the one making the listings or at least outsourcing that work. But putting it together. And so it's just super handy to have Amazon's fulfillment handle, that whole customer end of the logistics so that you don't have to do that yourself when you're first starting.
Just moving into the trust and credibility part, this is a massive portion as to why we chose to start with Amazon. So if we look at it, like just simply put yourself in the customer's shoes. Is someone truly going to buy something off your no name branded Shopify store without any sort of real trust, any sort of real credibility? Don't get me wrong, it can still happen. We're not saying it's not. However, when something is on Amazon, customers automatically know that they have the ability to return the product, they have the ability to get fast shipping, and they know that, Amazon's always going to side at the end of the day with the customer. So it gives a lot of leeway in regards to getting your products purchased when you only have a couple of reviews on your listing, right? So it goes a very, very long way. And then beyond that, Amazon's platform, going back to the built-in traffic with the trust and credibility, when someone sees that you have your products on Amazon, and then you have your own Shopify website, and then on TikTok Shop, whatever it may be, the trust and credibility just grows. But I do believe that having that starting point on Amazon is a big, massive benefit.
Yeah, that trust is huge. And you said something that again, people love to hate on this. People will talk about how Amazon, oh, they're always putting the customer first, they're always taking the customer's side. And I get it. It can be frustrating sometimes if you don't feel like you're being fairly represented or whatever. But at the end of the day, that trust is huge. That trust is gold. And so it's to Amazon's benefit to have that high trust from the customer. And ultimately, it's to your benefit as well if you choose to sell on Amazon. And that's one of the main reasons why I think it's such a great place to start.
And that really ties into the next point, which is data-driven decisions. Right. One of the biggest benefits of Amazon is that, you can obviously use a bunch of software to do that, whether we see two examples here. There's Helium 10, there's Jungle Scout, there's Zonbase, there's so many different ones. We like to really focus on Helium 10, and I'm sure we're going to have some sort of discount code coming soon.
Dude, actually, they just emailed me. I didn't tell you before the call, so surprise. But they just emailed me. Yeah, so we should be partnering with them soon. So if you're watching, awesome, keep an eye out for a link coming soon for a discount.
Love it. And I just want to be transparent and say I think I've been using Helium 10 since like 2020 at least, religiously. So very, very familiar with the platform. Cannot speak more highly enough of it. As of now, I did not know until just Taylor mentioned. We weren't affiliated with them, but love to see that we're going to be having a discount code, and that'll be the description of the video. But going back to that data-driven decisions discussion, one of the biggest benefits of Amazon is that we get to literally see how many units of a product is sold and what is trending upwards, right? And that's a massive benefit that we don't necessarily get on Shopify, for example, or any other competitor's website. We can make real decisions on understanding, hey, this is being searched X amount of times per month. And this is kind of like a hint to our product. The product that we're making is literally being searched tens of thousands of times a month. And there's not a product that's specifically and uniquely targeting it, which is the reason why we made the data-driven decision of launching that product first.
Absolutely. It's huge. I get a lot of people, when they hear that I'm doing e-commerce and they have, everyone's got great ideas about stuff they might want to launch, product ideas and what have you. And oftentimes they don't have a good concept, I feel like, of demand, like how important, how essential it is to understand and forecast the demand that will be there for your product when you launch it. And I think having something like Helium 10 and working with Amazon, it's just unparalleled how confidently you can make decisions based on buyer demand.
Again, I cannot agree more. It's almost like you and I have been working together for a while, Taylor. So I love it. So now let's move on to the next one, which is why not start in other platforms? Now, this is something that I will start off with and say that I think Taylor and I are pretty biased in. We're obviously very Amazon FBA heavy, but there's clear advantages to starting on Amazon, and there's clear disadvantages too, right? Like one of the biggest disadvantages of focusing mainly on Amazon versus Shopify is that you don't get your customer data. And that's a huge, huge, huge selling point as to why you would start on Shopify. However, we know that, again, people are searching this search term tens of thousands of times a month. And there's not a product that's directly targeting it on Amazon. So we're using Amazon as the catapult to launch the brand. And once brand awareness happens, we know people are going to funnel into our Shopify website. And to be frank, we would be focusing on TikTok shops simultaneously if, we at the time of this recording, it's December 31st. So with that said, until we know what's happening with the TikTok shop ban, I don't think it's worth us putting our time and effort into it until we see, with absolute certainty that it's staying on there. And then we'll focus on the launch with TikTok shop being a part of it. But yeah, Taylor, if you want to take away, if you have any other points to add.
Just like you said, it's a catapult, right? You need to start somewhere. You can't, in my opinion, you don't want to start doing 5 different new things all at the same time because you're just probably not going to do any one of them very well. So execute on step 1, whatever you pick. We're picking Amazon to launch with first because we feel confident we can execute that step well. But then it's really not an either or situation in e-commerce. It can be a both and. You can have your products listed on Amazon and you can have your own Shopify store. There's nothing against that. There's no reason not to. It's just more a practical approach, Start with one thing first and then move on to the next thing. Don't start with everything all at once. That's one thing that, I always try to remind myself and that I remind my students.
And just like one last point to add to that is you're building a business here. You're building a real brand. You want to focus that over time you build the assets that you need to make that done correctly, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. This reminds me of one of my main clients that I'm really building out her business on. And we're literally she has 3 SKUs right now. We're perfecting each and every one over time. We don't want to dump a ton of money all in at once and putting the company in general at risk. And it's just a long-term game. Right? So you can start on Amazon, then you expand into Shopify. Funny enough, I mean, if you're watching our videos, I'm sure you're not going to be watching our videos and not know who Alex Ramosi is. If you read either of his books as of now, $100 million offers or $100 million leads, I know for sure $100 million leads discusses this. You want to perfect the platform you want to be on and then move on to the next, right? Why try and do 5 different things at once and just lead to a lackluster result, right, on all platforms. Yeah, and just to kind of wrap things up for key takeaways, the reason why we're choosing Amazon, once again, has built-in traffic, trusted platform, very, very clear reasonings as to why. In regards to scalability, super fast. Not only that, this is actually a point that we didn't discuss, Taylor, is that Amazon's fulfillment channels also allow scalability to both TikTok Shop and Shopify.
Yeah,
right?
good point.
So, our FBA inventory can then be connected to TikTok Shop and Shopify. So when sales happens on those platforms, the orders are still being fulfilled by Amazon through multi-channel fulfillment in a private labeled brown box, right? That doesn't say Amazon. And that is a huge touch point that, you get to do when you're doing Amazon FBA to start.
That's so huge. And I feel like that's one of the things that people take for granted or maybe just don't know about. But yes, you can link the back end of your Shopify store and your TikTok shop to Amazon's warehouse, essentially, so that they just continue fulfilling those orders. It makes it so scalable. I'm glad you remembered that.
And I think that's about it. Look forward to the next video, guys.
Absolutely. See you guys on the next one. If you're ready to start selling your own products through Amazon FBA, hit the like button and subscribe so you can follow along with our journey. Let me know in the comments. Are you considering Amazon FBA or do you think there's a better platform for you? I'd love to hear why and give you my feedback. Don't miss our next video where we're going to break down exactly why we entered the supplement space and which supplement we're bringing to market. Stay tuned and we'll see you on the next one.